I paid off my parents' debt and bought them a luxury car, but at Mom's retirement party she called me a fool who thinks he's important. So I cut them off, and woke up to 105 missed calls. You know, I thought I was doing everything right. I thought I was the dependable one, the family rock. But the truth hit me like a gut punch, shattering everything I believed. To them, I wasn't a son, a brother, or family. I was just a fool, a walking ATM they could bleed dry. For years, I was the undisputed financial backbone of my entire family. It started subtly, a few bills here, a little extra cash there, just helping out my parents when they needed a bit of support. But before I knew it, I was drowning. I was paying for everything, their mortgage, the car payments, my mom's medical bills, even my dad's golf club membership. And it wasn't just money they took. It was my time, my energy, my very identity. I'm a corporate lawyer, one of the best at my firm. I work soul-crushing 70-hour weeks, negotiating multi-million-dollar contracts, making sure my clients never see the inside of a courtroom. I don't have a wife, no kids, no time for vacations, no time for anything really, except work. And my family? They took full advantage. My sister, Anna, had my number on speed dial for rent money or a new phone. My cousin, Mark, who ran a struggling construction company, basically got a free in-house legal department. Contract reviews, settlements, even lawsuits, all on my dime, my time. Even my parents, they relied on me for every little thing. I drafted their wills, negotiated their insurance, even got my dad out of a jam after he totaled someone's car. So, when my mom was finally ready to retire, I made sure she wouldn't have to worry about a single thing. I paid off their house. Cleared all their lingering debt. I even surprised them with a brand new luxury car, the kind my dad had always dreamed of but could never afford. I thought, just this once, maybe they'd be proud of me. Maybe I'd finally be more than just their personal ATM. I was so wrong. My mom's retirement party was a huge affair, a high-end restaurant, live music, over 100 guests. I handled everything. The food, the venue, even a slideshow of her career highlights. At some point, I stepped outside to take a client call. When I came back, I heard my mother's voice, drifting from the hallway near the restrooms. I wasn't trying to eavesdrop, but then I heard my name. Ethan actually thinks that just because he pays for everything, it makes him important. I froze. Well, you did say he's so naive, my Aunt Linda cackled, dramatically. Of course he is. We raised a fool who thinks he's important just because he pays our bills. Laughter. Casual, effortless, like they were discussing the weather. Well, at least he's useful, my dad chuckled. He brings in the money and free legal work. My cousin Mark chimed in, not the worst fool to have in the family, I guess. I stood there, numb. A fool. That's all I was to them. Not a son. Not a brother. Not family. Just some idiot willing to hand over his money and skills without question. And in that moment, something inside me snapped. I walked back into that banquet hall, my heart pounding, head spinning. The party was still in full swing, guests laughing, drinking, completely oblivious to the fact that everything had just changed. I headed straight for my table, pulled out my phone, and right there, in front of everyone, I opened my banking app. "What are you doing?" Anna asked, frowning. I canceled every single automatic payment tied to their accounts. Mortgage. Utilities. Car payments. Insurance. Gone. All done, I said, slipping my phone back into my pocket. What do you mean, all done? My dad asked, slowly setting down his drink. I exhaled slowly. It means you're on your own now. My mother's smile vanished. Ethan, stop being dramatic, she said, her voice sharp. Dramatic? I let out a short, bitter laugh. No, this is long overdue. You think I'm naive for paying your bills? Fine. Let's see how you like paying them yourselves. The room went silent. Ethan, you can't be serious. Aunt Linda said, nervously chuckling. Oh, I'm completely serious. I turned to Mark. And by the way, if you need legal help, hire an attorney. I'm done. Mark clenched his jaw. Are you really doing this over a joke? No, I said, my voice calm, cold. I'm doing this because I finally see all of you for what you truly are. Anna scoffed. Oh my God, grow up. You're acting like a child. No, I said, looking her dead in the eye. Actually, I'm acting like a lawyer who just terminated a bad contract. And with that, I turned and walked out. Not one of them could stop me. The first 2 days were dead silent. Then, the calls started. First, my mom. Ethan, you forgot to send the money for the electricity, dear. Can you fix that today? Ignored. Then my dad. Son, this is serious. If we don't pay the insurance. Ignored. Then Anna. You're really punishing all of us over one stupid comment? Grow up. Ignored. By the end of the week, I had 37 missed calls. By the end of the month, that number had climbed to 105. That's when the real chaos began. At first, I expected them to cool off, to maybe reflect. I was wrong. The silence didn't last. After those 105 missed calls, they changed tactics. It started with the guilt-tripping messages. Mom, Ethan, we're your family. Families don't do this to each other. Dad, your mother is so stressed she can't sleep. Do you even care? Anna, wow, so you're just going to abandon us like we're strangers? I didn't respond. Then came the passive-aggressive posts on social media. Anna wrote, some people only do things for others so they can hold it over their heads later. Real love is unconditional. I actually laughed when I saw that. Unconditional, I'd been paying her bills for years, never asking for a thing. Now that I stopped, I was the villain? Then, they got desperate. Mom, Ethan, the electricity was shut off today. We don't have power. How could you do this? That one almost got me. Almost. But then I remembered. I had been paying that bill for years, and every time I asked if they needed help budgeting, my mom would brush it off. Oh, don't worry about that, sweetheart. We'll figure it out. Well, time to figure it out. A week later, they showed up at my office. I was in the middle of reviewing a complex case when my assistant buzzed in. Ethan, your family is here. They don't have an appointment, but they're insisting it's urgent. I sighed, rubbing my temples. I should have expected this. Send them to the conference room. I closed my laptop and walked in to find Mom, Dad, and Anna sitting there, looking absolutely furious. Ethan, Mom started, this has gone on long enough. You made your point. Now, let's be reasonable and fix this. Fix what? I asked, leaning against the table, my arms crossed. The bills, Ethan, she snapped. We're behind on everything. The mortgage, the car, the insurance. Not my problem, I said simply. Not your, my dad shook his head. Son, you can't just cut us off like this. We're family. Oh, I can. And I did. Anna crossed her arms. So what, you just expect us to struggle? You mean like I struggled? I shot back, my voice rising a little. Working 70-hour weeks to pay for everything while you all sat back and laughed. At me? She scoffed. It was just a joke, Ethan. You're blowing this way out of proportion. I leaned forward, resting my hands on the table. Let me be crystal clear. You laughed at me. You mocked me. You used me. And when I finally stood up for myself, suddenly I'm the bad guy? No. That's not how this works. Mom put on her sympathetic voice. Sweetheart, we never meant to hurt you. We just assumed you enjoyed helping us. Enjoyed? I let out a bitter, disbelieving laugh. Did I ever get a choice? Silence. Exactly, I said. Dad tried a new approach. All right, Ethan, let's make a deal. Maybe you don't have to cover everything anymore, but just help out with the big things. The house, the car, the insurance. That's fair, right? I smiled. Sure. I'll make a deal. For a brief second, I saw relief flash across their faces. Then I continued, I'll pay for everything again, if you sign a contract stating you'll pay me back every single cent. With interest. The relief vanished. Ethan, don't be ridiculous. Mom snapped. Oh, I'm very serious. I pulled a blank legal contract from my briefcase. Since you all love using me for my legal skills, let's make this official. Anna gasped at me. You expect us to pay you back? Yes. You never asked for money back before, she protested. And you never appreciated it before, I shot back. Dad slammed his hand on the table. You're acting like a complete stranger. I stared at him, unfazed. You made it clear that the only reason you put up with me was because I paid for everything. So now, let's see if you still want me around without my wallet. Silence. Mom looked at the contract, then at me. You're serious? Dead serious. She pushed back her chair and stood up. Fine. Keep your money. But don't expect us to come crawling back when you realize you need your family. I won't, I said. Anna stormed out first. Then my dad. Then my mom. I sat back in the chair, exhaled, and for the first time in years, I felt free. A month passed. The missed calls slowed down. The guilt-tripping messages faded. Then, one afternoon, I got a text from Anna. We're selling the house. Mom and Dad can't afford it without your help. I stared at the message for a long moment. Then, I typed back, not my problem. Good luck. And for the first time in my life, I hit send without feeling a shred of guilt. Cutting them off should have been the end of it. But people like my family? They don't just give up. At first, there was silence. No texts, no calls. It had been weeks since the loan shark scam, and I figured they had finally realized I wasn't coming back. Then, I got a call from Uncle Ray. I hesitated before answering. He wasn't someone I spoke to often, just a distant relative who lived in another state. Ethan? Hey, it's Ray. Hey, Uncle Ray. What's up? Look, I hate to get involved in family business, but your mom called me. She's saying you abandoned them. I rolled my eyes. Did she also tell you I paid for everything for years? She may have left that part out, he conceded. Figures. Ethan, I don't want to take sides, but they're really struggling. I mean, they're losing the house. Your dad's a mess. Anna's barely keeping things together. They need you, man. That's not my problem anymore, Ray. He sighed. I get it, kid, I really do. But you know, family is family. I clenched my jaw. Is that what she told you? That I just abandoned them out of nowhere? Silence. Ray, let me save you some time. I paid off their debts. I covered their mortgage. I even bought them a luxury car. And do you know what I got in return? They laughed at me behind my back. Called me a fool. Said the only reason they put up with me was because I paid for everything. Another silence. Then Ray cleared his throat. Yeah, she definitely left that part out. So, no, Ray. I'm not paying another cent. Fair enough, kid. I won't bother you again. Click. One by one, they were losing allies. 2 months passed. Their house officially foreclosed. The luxury car, repossessed. Anna's business folded. They were finally feeling real consequences. Then, out of nowhere, I got an email from an unknown sender with the subject line, "Are you sure you want to do this to your own mother?" I almost ignored it, but curiosity got the better of me. When I opened it, my stomach dropped. It was a GoFundMe page. The title? Desperate mother on the verge of homelessness after heartless son betrays family. I felt a mix of rage and disbelief as I read through the description. After years of sacrificing everything for her children, our dear mother has been left abandoned by the one she trusted most, her son, a wealthy lawyer. He cruelly cut her off, leaving her with nothing. Now she faces losing her home and needs your help. Attached were old family pictures, ones where I looked happy, where I looked like the beloved son they were now weaponizing for pity money. At the bottom, $12,450 raised out of a $50,000 goal. I clenched my fists. They were actually scamming strangers now. And worst of all, it was working. I played my last card. I could have ignored it, let them continue their little fraud campaign. But they made one big mistake, they used my full name. And that? That was defamation. I immediately forwarded the page to a friend in cybersecurity. Within a few hours, he tracked down the IP address linked to the GoFundMe. Guess where it led? Anna's laptop. I smirked. Gotcha, then I called my lawyer. Hey, Greg, you still handle defamation cases? Always. Who's the target? My own family. I sent him everything, the GoFundMe link, screenshots, proof of where the money was going because, surprise, surprise, it wasn't going to Mom. Anna had already withdrawn almost $10,000. Greg whistled. Heck, Ethan, this is low, even for family. Yeah, well, they started this. I'm just finishing it. Want to send a cease and desist first, or go straight to legal action? I thought about it for a moment. Then I said, no mercy. Within 48 hours, the GoFundMe was shut down, all the money frozen. Anna called me, absolutely screaming. You had no right. Oh, I had every right, I said calmly. It's called fraud, Anna. We were just trying to survive. No, you were trying to steal from innocent people. And now, you're facing real legal consequences. She was silent. Oh, and by the way, I also notified GoFundMe's fraud department. So, enjoy explaining yourself to them. Click. A week later, I heard through Uncle Ray that Anna had to pay back the donors. My parents, still drowning in debt, their last lifeline gone. A month later, I received one last voicemail from my mom. Her voice was hollow, like she had finally run out of excuses. Ethan, I know you hate us, but we're your family. I don't know what to do anymore. Please, just talk to me. I sat there, listening. Then I deleted it. For the first time in my life, I owed them nothing. And I never looked back. It's been 6 months since I cut them off. 6 months since I stopped paying their bills. 6 months since I shut down their fraudulent GoFundMe. 6 months since I heard my mother's voice. At first, I expected another wave of manipulation. Maybe they'd send more relatives to guilt-trip me. Maybe Anna would try another scam. Maybe my dad would show up at my office demanding I fix everything. But nothing happened. Just silence. I should have felt relieved. But instead, I felt strange. Not regret, definitely not guilt, just an odd emptiness. The kind that comes when you realize the people you once called family were just leeches you finally removed. One evening, I got home late from work, tossing my briefcase onto the counter. My phone buzzed. A number I didn't recognize. I hesitated, then against my better judgment, I picked up. Hello? A woman's voice came through, shaky, unfamiliar. Ethan? It's me, Kelly. I blinked. Kelly? Jacob's wife. She was married to my cousin, and while we'd never been particularly close, she had always been quiet, observant, the only one in the family who didn't treat me like a wallet. Kelly? I said cautiously. What's going on? I don't know if I should be calling, but I thought you should know. Your parents moved in with Anna. I raised an eyebrow. So, things are bad, Ethan. Really bad. I stayed silent. Anna's business is gone. The house is a mess. Your mom and dad, they barely leave their rooms. And Anna? She's completely unraveling. Drinking too much, snapping at everyone. She told me last week that she wished you had never been born. I snorted. That's not exactly new. No, Ethan, I mean it. She's completely lost it. And now that they don't have you, they're turning on each other. I leaned against the counter, rubbing my temple. Why are you telling me this, Kelly? She hesitated. Because I think your mom is sick. I felt my stomach tighten. Sick how? I don't know exactly. She's lost a lot of weight. She barely speaks. Anna won't take her to a doctor because they don't have money for it. And your dad? He just sits there drinking. I exhaled slowly. This was their reality now. For years, they lived off me, wasting money, laughing behind my back, treating me like I was disposable. And now they were disposable to each other. Kelly, I said after a moment, why are you really calling me? She hesitated again. Then she finally admitted the truth. Your mom asked me to call you. She didn't want to do it herself. She said she'd rather die than beg you for help. But Ethan, I think she's hoping you'll come back. I closed my eyes. There it was. Their last, desperate attempt. I let the silence stretch until Kelly sighed. I know they don't deserve it, but I also know you. And I know this isn't easy for you. I clenched my jaw. She wasn't wrong. Then I said the one thing I knew Kelly didn't want to hear. They made their choice. She sighed. Yeah. I figured you'd say that. You seem like a good person, Kelly. Don't let them drag you down with them. She let out a bitter laugh. Too late for that. Click. I stared at my phone for a long time after that. Then I did something I never thought I would. I unblocked my mother's number. And I sent one final message, I know you're sick. Go to a hospital. You can still fix this for yourself. But don't ever expect anything from me again. This is the last time I'll acknowledge you. She read it immediately. No reply. Months passed. I never heard from them again. I don't know if my mother ever went to the doctor. I don't know if my father ever sobered up. I don't know if Anna ever crawled out of her downward spiral. And I don't care. Because for the first time in my life, I was truly free.